Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining today's session, the second day of our Oracle Fusion Financials Cloud training. Yesterday, basically, what we had a demo was around, certain aspects of Oracle Fusion Financials. What are the different applications that are involved? What is the concept? What is the evaluation that Oracle Cloud Financials has experienced till today? What was the trajectory? All those things we had tried to discuss and help you understand to have a basic, overview around the Oracle Fusion applications. Today, we will be starting into the, core training aspects. Each topic by topic, we will be going forward. Uh, the agenda for today basically is to, cover the topic of helping you getting familiar with the Oracle Fusion user interface and how to navigate around the application at a high level is something that we will be discussing around. And then we will start with the security administration because that is one of the initial things that you need to understand about how the security administration happens within Oracle Fusion Financials, Oracle Fusion applications, and have an understanding around the concept of security administration. Okay. And these are the topics that will be continued in the coming days to enter into the core aspects of the, enter into the core concepts of the configurational aspects. And that is how we will move forward. Okay. All right. So when we talk about, security administration, or sorry, before that, let's have a look at the Oracle Fusion UI. Yesterday, as I mentioned, once you procure the subscription or the licensing for the application, okay, you will get a link that is called as the environment link, okay, which is unique to every client that purchases the licenses or subscription. Sorry. Is there anything, any question that you had, or? Okay. If there is no question, please, I would request you to mute yourself. And during the session, when I would be, asking you for any queries, that is when you can unmute and ask your questions. Okay. Until then, request to please keep yourself on mute. All right. Thank you. So once that particular client who has received the subscription, okay, or the licensing, they will be getting a unique URL, which is called as the Oracle Fusion URL, okay, which they can, along with that, they will be getting an ID and password using which they can log into the application, okay? So that is what we will be looking at now. So here is the Fusion application. Yesterday, as I had shown you during the session. Give me a moment. Okay, you log into the instance or the environment, as we call it, this environment. This is a demo environment that we have for our practice purpose. So similar to that, there will be an environment provided to each client for their respective license procured. They will log in into the application, and this is how the landing screen, that is called as the landing page, will look like, where there will be certain dashboards and things, and then you click on home page. Okay, so this home icon, that is when the home page will start appearing. Okay. Now, today I will be just walking you through with, some of the navigational aspects, not all of it, just to make you familiar with the, application once you log in, how you can navigate around the application. Okay. So this particular page, the home page, the theme that you see, okay, this kind of theme, this is called as a newsfeed layout. All right. Okay. This particular layout that you see is called as a news feed layout. Okay. Now, here on the very top left hand side, you have something like a menu icon. Okay, menu icon, we call it as the navigator. Okay, get yourself familiar with the terms and terminologies that I'm using, because that is what we will be using in our sessions on a regular basis. Okay, so this particular thing, the menu icon on the very top left hand side, it is called as the navigator. Okay, and this navigator is basically when you click on it, you will find that there are a lot of things that are coming in, right? These are all the different things that you will be seeing. Now, this is basically the application accesses and functional area accesses that for which you have been given access by the admin team. Okay, the Oracle Fusion admin team would be there, who would give you access for different kinds of applications and functions, which you can work on depending upon the department or functions that you need to perform within your organization. So according to that, this list will be displayed. Okay, based on the access that has been provided to you. Now you can see here there is receivables, there is general accounting, there is payables, cash management, fixed assets, lease accounting. Okay, so this particular user using which I had logged in has access to all these applications. Okay, that is why you can see all these applications and functional areas inside the navigator. Okay, so this is a preliminary understanding that you need to have. Now, the same thing that you see in the navigator, okay, the same things will be even available to you here in the Springboard. Okay, this is called as a Springboard section, where basically you will have on a vertical, on a horizontal level, you will be having all these same applications that you see here. The same thing you will be finding here in a horizontal way. Okay, so like you can see, as I mentioned, there is cash management, fixed assets, and all. And when you click on that, it will take you, or it will show you the options inside it. The options, it is not options, basically it is called as work areas. Okay, these are all called as work areas within the applications. So if I select general accounting, the work areas under general accounting is general accounting dashboard, journals, period close. If I take fixed assets, there is asset and asset inquiry. If I take cash management, there is bank statement and reconciliation. Okay, then if I take receivables, there is accounts receivable, there would be billing. Okay, additionally, those are the things that you will basically see. Okay, when you click on the respective application, and that too, it is dependent on the access that has been provided to you. Again, why I'm emphasizing the word as access, because it is part of the security administration. Based on the access that is provided to you, you'll be able to see the applications and its respective work areas or functions as well. Okay, then when you scroll down to this in this particular newsfeed layout, you will find there is a section called as things to finish. Okay, things to finish, basically this is related to certain notifications and stuff that come to you for a particular action. So generally these are related to approvals, approval notifications, or FYI notifications, that is for your information notifications with respect to certain kinds of tasks and functions that you perform in each of the module. Okay, just as an example, in accounts payable module, you book the invoices, right? The invoices related to the suppliers. So that invoice, if there are approvals enabled or approvals are in place, for approvals of the invoices, once the user enters the invoice, they will initiate the approval. Okay, and that approval will go to the respective people in the chain of hierarchy for their approval. And those people in their respective logins will see that a notification has come to them for approving the invoice, and this is where they will be able to see the notification. This is kind of a quick access section for accessing the notifications, any kind of notifications that come to that particular user, either for their action or for their information as a notification. Okay, the same thing will be available here also. this bell icon that you see. So this bell icon also is something from where you can access all the notifications that has come to you. The bell icon is something named as notifications itself. Okay, and when you click on it, you'll see all those notifications here again. Okay, so there are two places from where you can access the notifications. Okay, on the newsfeed layout, the section that we saw earlier, that is more like a quick access section. Okay, there is bell notification also where you click on, and then you can go inside and see the notifications here again. Okay, so this is what is related to the things to do and notification sections on this particular newsfeed layout. Then you have a section called news and announcement. So this is with respect to any kind of news and announcements that the organization, from an organization's perspective, want to make for any, let's say, event or for any workshops or things like that. Those kind of configurations can be done. Okay. And it will start appearing in this news and announcement section when the organization wants to put up as an announcement for the entire organization. Okay. So these are samples from Oracle for showing the display. Then we have a section called as analytics. So in this analytics, you will have something called as infolets. Okay, infolets, or you can even call it as, in a layman terms, you can call it as dashboard, where with respect to certain key, statistics of different functional areas like accounts payable, accounts receivable, GL. Okay, for that, there will be certain infolets or dashboards that will be available inside this analytical section, which gives the user an overview, okay, of certain key, statistics related to the different activities that are performed. So if I refresh this, so this is a analytics section for general accounting infolets. With respect to the general accounting or general ledger module, these infolets will display certain key statistics and information. These are again configurable to a certain extent. So these are designated infolets, but the information display that is coming inside it is to some extent configurable. Okay. So here you can see close calendar. This is the infolet related to the period close for certain ledgers. Okay, here it is showing their primary ledger for that the period close in number of days and things like that as a calendar is being displayed. Okay, the start date for that period is 1st of December and end date is 31st December. It is displaying that particular information. Then open subledgers. What are the different subledgers that are open for which the period is the current period is open and where activities are happening? Okay, it is kind of an infolet that gives out that information. Okay, then intercompany transactions. There are journals. So the journals of around $274,000 have been booked in the current month for this particular ledger. That is what is being displayed here in this infolet. So similar to that, there are many infolets that give out certain kind of key information from an analytical perspective for the users to take a look at and keep a track of. Okay, so similar to this infolet with for general accounting, there are infolets for each of the different work areas or modules. Okay, so here you can see order to cash infolet. If you click on that, you'll see some of the infolets that are coming, which will give information and statistics, analytical statistics with respect to the order to cash process. Okay, so similar to that, there are many other infolets also. Depending upon the access of the application, the same will be displayed. Okay. So that was about the analytical section in the newsfeed layout. So this is in entirety, this is called as the newsfeed layout. Okay. Now here there are some icons that you see. This we already know. This is a home page icon. So whenever you want to navigate back to the home page, just like we have in case of any website that you go, you have a home page where when you click on it, it will take you to the home page of that particular application, right? The same way, this is the same case for Oracle login as well. Okay, then you have something called this as a star kind of icon. So the star icon is nothing but the to mark certain pages and the things like that which you want as a favorite page. Okay, when would you mark a particular page as a favorite page? When you are using that particular page quite frequently and you want to have a quick access to it rather than navigating to each of the respective application and then going into that page. Instead of that, if you want to have a quick access to a certain page that you are quite often accessing, that is where you can mark it as favorite, and there from that favorite list you can directly click on it and navigate to that. So let's say, for example, I am a payable accountant. Okay, and quite often I have to access the invoice entry page. Okay, so where do I find the invoice entry page? In a normal way, I'll go to navigator, scroll down to payable. Okay, right now the payable access is not there. So let's take this particular case, general accounting. Okay, so as a general accountant, I need to access the journal creation page quite often. Okay, and if I want to access in a normal way the journal creation page, first I have to go to navigator, go to general accounting, click on journals, and then here there is a task list, and under that task list you will have create journal as a page. Okay, so in a normal scenario, if I want to navigate to this page, this is the steps I need to follow. Go to navigator, go to general accounting, click on journals, and then come to the create journal page. But if this is quite frequently I'm accessing, and I don't want to spend time in going through the entire navigation one by one every time. So what I'll do is I'll come down to this page once and mark it as a favorite. So I'll go to this star. I will say under the favorite tab, I will say add to favorite. And the name is create journal. Okay, and I will save and close it. So when I save and close it, that create journal page will be added as a favorite page under this particular list. Okay, now I go back to the home page. I'll cancel this and exit out of this page. Okay, next time when I want to access that page, simply what I can do is go to that favorite from the home page itself. I go to that favorite and directly click on create journal. Okay, so it will directly take me to that particular page instead of me having to navigate one by one to the respective navigator and then going to the application, then going to the work area, and then going inside that work area to select the task. Okay, instead of doing that, I can quickly do a quick access if I mark certain pages as favorite pages. Okay, so that is the functionality of this particular star icon, where you can mark favorites and access it. Create a quick access for the different pages that you want to navigate. Okay. Similarly, in the star icon, there is something called as recent items also. Okay, so this recent items will list down all the pages that you have accessed recently. Okay, it will give out a list of the pages that you have accessed recently, and anytime that you want to look at it, what is the different page, you can from here also access it. Okay, so this is what the recent items tab will show you under the star icon, which is called as the favorite and recent items icon. Okay, then we have something as a flag icon. Okay, I'll go back to the navigator. Sorry, I'll go back to the home page. There is something called as a flag icon, and this flag icon is nothing but a watch list. Okay, watch list is what? In the layman terms, a watch list is something where you want to keep a track of certain key actionable items. Okay, certain key actionable items. When you want to keep a track of it, you add it to a watch list. Okay, just like if you are familiar with the stock equity stock related applications, where you mark certain stocks that you want to continuously keep a watch on under the watch list. Okay, it is the same way in case of fusion applications. For certain kinds of activities, actionable activities which you want to keep a close look on, and that is where watch list would be available for you to keep a track of it. And that is again dependent upon the application and function accesses that you have within your login. Okay. So if I click on this tab, watch list, you will see these are all the different kinds of watch list, that is predefined watch list, which is coming under this particular section. And you will see here, see journals. So import errors. So journals that ran into import error, the list of it will be displayed over here. And there is a hyperlink also for you to directly go to that page and then take a necessary action. Similarly, incomplete journals. Okay, so this is again one of the watch lists where you can keep a track of all the incomplete journals. Okay, and whenever you want to take a necessary action on that incomplete journals to finalize it, you can simply click on this and it will take you to the respective screen. I'll click on it just for your information. See here, it is directly taking you to that particular dashboard where it will show you all the journals which needs your attention, okay, or which needs the respective department's attention to complete. Okay. The same way, with respect to each of the application and the different work areas, you will find this particular watch list. Okay. So this is the icon for watch list. Notification tab is something that we have already discussed. Okay. Now coming to this settings and action. Okay. Under the settings and action, there are different kinds of tasks and pages that you will find. A couple of them is what we are going to discuss. Like under the personalization section, there is something called as set preference. Okay, so this set preference is basically to manage things around the password reset request. Similarly, time and region and date format setups, how we want to do it, just like we do it in case of our desktops, right? How we can set the dates, how we can set the time zone. Okay, the same way in the Oracle Fusion application also under preferences, you will find some of those kind of options. Like in the general preference, you have regional related setting, language related setting, password related setting, watch list. Okay, again, watch list is something where you can add or edit or disable or enable the watch list that you want to display under this list. Okay, that is what you have it here, where you can set your preference. As per your preference, you can set these options. Okay, so if I click on regional, you will see this general preference related to the region. So what is your territory? Okay, what is the date format, how you want the date to be displayed on different pages when you are entering the transaction or viewing the transaction. Similarly, what is the time format to be followed? What is the number format to be followed? What is the currency, default currency to be followed? Okay, what is the time zone to be followed? So that is what you can set it. By default, when a instance is being assigned, default detail is something that would be displayed here. But then according to your regional requirement, you can set the preference. Okay. So this is the regional general preference. Next comes the language. So in language also is something that you can set. Default language, what is the default language that you want to follow? Current session language and the display name of the language that is being followed. Okay. Then similarly, you have accessibility, settings. How the accessibility needs to be there. Do you want a default mode or a screen reader mode? Color contrast, is it standard or high? Okay, that is something that you can manage. Then password. Okay, related to the password, if you want to reset your password, okay, then that is where you can, in this particular section for reset password, the preference, you can reset it. Okay, then similarly, you have watch list. So earlier we saw there were a couple of watch lists available in that section, right? Now some of them you don't want to be displayed. So this is a standard list of watch lists that is coming up based on the application accesses that you have. But in this watch list, you don't want everything. You want just a couple of them. Like let's say journal is what journal related watch list is what you want. The rest everything you want to disable. So this is the section under the general preference. Under the watch list section, you click on it, and whatever is not required, you can simply disable it. Let's say, for example, compensation related watch list I don't want. So I'll disable it fully. Okay, contract related is something I don't want. I'll disable it. Okay, and then save. So now, next time when I access the watch list, you see those two have been removed. Okay, now there is only a couple of them that is being displayed. Okay, so that is how you can manage the watch list also from this particular section. Okay, so this is something from a general preference perspective that you need to know, which we have understood. Coming back to the settings and actions icon. Okay, next thing that you need to be aware is at least at this primary level is the setup and maintenance. Okay, this is the task which quite often we will be accessing to do the configurations related to the applications. Okay, the general ledger application, accounts payable application, okay, or receivable, whatever setups are there. If you want to access that setup pages, this is from where you will go. Now, this setup and maintenance is also coming under this list because this particular user, that is hcm.lab, using which I logged in, has the access, okay, to the respective area of doing the setups. For a normal end user, that is for a normal business user, this option will not be available because they will not be given access to that particular setup and maintenance activities. Okay, this is also coming up as based on the access that has been provided to this particular user. Okay, so let's right now let's understand how when you have a setup and maintenance access, what are the things that you will see, how you can navigate all those things. We will take a look at now. So I'll click on the setup and maintenance. So this is where your setup page has opened up. Okay, you see there is a setup, workforce deployment. Okay, this is related to human capital management. Okay, but for financials, if you want to access the setup area, you click on this drop down, scroll up, and here you will find the financials. Okay, so financials offering, we call it as the offering. The financial offering, when you select it, that is where all the setup activities related to the financial applications will be displayed under this section. Okay, so these are all different functional areas, as we call it, okay, related to which the setups can be done once you navigate to this particular page in this particular setup and maintenance. So once the financials is selected, these are all the different functional areas. Like you can see, for expenses, for fixed assets, for receivables, for cash management, for payables, payments. Okay, many of these setups are something that you will see under the financials offering when you select it. Okay, so now let's say, for example, I want to do setups related to as a implementation consultant. Okay, for financials, I have selected financials here, and let's say I want to do the setup related to payables. So I will click on payables here, and on the right hand side, you see these are the tasks that will be displayed, the setup tasks, as we call it. Okay, that will be displayed on the right hand side, for the different kinds of setups or configurations that you need to do for payables module as a functional implementation consultant. Okay, so payment terms, how to if you want to define payment terms, this is the task that you need to access. Similarly, there are some common option for payable procurement, invoice option, payment option. These are the setups, different setups that are applicable for payable as a module, and this is where you can access it. Okay, now under this also this task list that is displayed is the key required tasks. If you want to see other tasks also, there are many other tasks as well. If you want to see a complete list of it for the respective module, you can click on this drop down and select all tasks. Okay, that is where you will find all different kinds of optional as well as required tasks being displayed under this section. In the coming days, these are all the different pages and areas that we will be navigating to in order to do the configuration related to the each of the application as and when we progress with the training. Okay, that is why I'm in the beginning itself, in the second session itself, we are just trying to understand how to navigate around. Okay. So similarly, if you want to do the setups related to payments, you click on payments and you will see all the payment related setup tasks that are available, which in turn you may have to access for doing the or for completing the configurations, required configurations. Okay. Now there is one more thing. Okay, instead of going into each of the respective functional areas one by one and trying to look for the respective task, okay, there is a quick way also that Oracle has provided where you can search the task as well. Okay, if you don't want to do all those kind of navigation one by one, you can even have a search. You do have option of searching those tasks as well, if you are familiar with the name of the task that you want to access. Okay, so right now, let's say I'm in the payments. And I want to define the payment terms. Okay, I don't know. Let's say I don't know where the payment terms is under this functional area. Okay, I do have an option to simply search it. So I will enter the keyword, for payment terms like this. Okay, and in Oracle, the wildcard search key is percentage. Okay, it is between percentages that you can give the keywords and search it. So what the application will do is it will try to find out all the tasks which has payment terms as a word included in it. Okay, so it has retrieved two setup tasks under financials, which has payment terms, manage payment terms with the functional area for payables, and manage receivable payment terms for the functional areas customer billing. So what is the task that you want to access? So let's say if it is the payable related payment terms that you want to access, simply you can select that, click on it, and that task is where you will directly land. Okay, instead of you having to go to payables and then looking for it, you directly were able to search it from here. Okay, so this is how basically you navigate around this particular page and try to access the different setup tasks in this particular page related to the offerings under which you want to work. Okay, so offering is what? Offering is the suite, okay, which you want to select for doing the configurations. So similar to that, you have many other functional area, offerings that can be selected according to which the setup needs to be made. So being financial consultant, we are training for financials. We would be accessing financials as the offering for doing all the setups. A person from human capital management, that is a human capital implementation consultant, will be looking out for the offering related to human capital management, like let's say compensation or workforce development. Okay, these are all different functional areas related to, offerings related to the human capital management modules. Similarly, a consultant from the CX side, that is the customer experience application side, will have to probably access sales because that is their offering that they need to select for doing the respective modules configuration. Okay, so this is how basically we will navigate around this page to access the different setup tasks and be able to perform the different configurations related to the different applications. Okay, now apart from this page search criteria and search that is enabled by Oracle, there is a global search also. Okay, so in this particular task list, this is called as a task list, you'll find search as an option. So when you click on search as an option, this is a page from where you can access any kind of setup task that you want to go to. Okay, instead of coming to the respective offering and then looking for a respective task, you do have an option to go to this task list and do from a global search perspective. You can access the respective setup task. Okay, but this is a complete list of global list of tasks that will be available. There is no structurization here. Okay, just like we had a structurization right here in this earlier page where financials had to be selected. Under financials, it would display all the respective functional areas related to the applications. And then when you select a specific functional area, its related set of tasks will be displayed. So that is more like a guided, search that you can do. But this list, which is called as the global search, okay, there is no such structurization here. You can simply you will simply have to search for the task by the name of it. Again, as a keyword, you can search. So the same thing I will do. Percentage is the keyword, search, keyword search, a wildcard character, and enter the keyword payment and percentage and terms and search. So it will display all the different tasks which has payment terms as a word in it. And then appropriately, you can select the one that you want to go ahead with. Okay. So this is the global search page from where you can search for the different setup tasks. Okay. So these are some of the basic, navigational aspects that I have tried to cover for your initial understanding, so that you are aware, how to navigate around these aspects. And because this is the same thing that we will be quite often accessing during the training sessions to complete our configurations related to the applications that we are training for. Okay. Now, one more thing that I want to highlight on this particular aspect is from an implementation consultant perspective. When you are starting with the configuration activities, okay, first you have to enable the offering. Okay, what was an offering? Financials or workforce, development, or sales, and all those things that we saw right in the setup and maintenance page. Here, this list is something that will not come on its own. Okay, this is something that is being enabled first. Okay, how is that respective offering enabled? That is what we will be understanding. Okay, so whenever a client purchases a license, they will be given the environment as I mentioned earlier. And in that environment, first of all, you have to enable the offering. Only then it will then start appearing in the respective page, in the setup and maintenance page under the offering list. Until that time, you will not find it. Okay. So based on the licenses that has been procured, you have to enable those offerings. Okay. So how do you enable those offerings? I'll give you a quick overview, and then we will move on. Okay. So once you log into the application, under the navigator, if you scroll down, there is something called as My Enterprise. Okay. Here you see My Enterprise. Click on My Enterprise, and this is where you will see certain work areas related to My Enterprise, out of which the first one is the offering. Okay. So it is under this offerings that the admin team has to go select the offering for which they have procured the license. So let's say, for example, for financials, they have procured the license. So they will click on financials, and there would be an option, opt-in feature here. Okay. The opt-in feature is something that you will click on. Let that page come up. Just one moment. I'll refresh the page once and then come back. You guys are able to hear me, right?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Was just confirming to see if there is a network issue or not. I'm navigating back to my enterprise from another page. Offerings, select financials, opt-in features. Yeah, so now the opt-in features page has come up, and this financials that you see as the top node, okay, is something that you will enable. So initially, when you open the new instance for the client, when you begin with the implementation, this would be disabled. Okay, so here the financial suite is something that you will enable. Along with that, all the different application functional areas would be enabled. Okay, and you can then click on done, and that is how the financials would get enabled. Okay, so this is how basically you enable it first, and then that financial as an offering would start appearing in the setup and maintenance page that we saw earlier. Okay, so yeah, right now you see the status is enabled because it was already enabled for this demo environment, and that's why it is showing status as enabled, and it was appearing in our setup and maintenance navigation which we saw earlier. But for fresh instance that you get for your client, you have that particular offering, and then go ahead and do the access that setup and maintenance page and do the related setups. Okay. Now there is one more thing that you will see here called as new features. So with each version upgrade, when new features come in, you can take a look at those new features from this particular, by selecting that particular offering and then clicking on new features. You can see what are the different new features that they have come up with or which is in the pipeline. Okay, which is going to be there in future releases that also will be displayed here. Okay, so these are all the different new features that have come in 25A. Some of them are, going to be further enhanced in 25C as well. Okay, so those are the information that you will find from here. So these are all just, preliminary things that I'm trying to walk you through to help you understand on the navigational aspects and how to enable the offering and then be able to access the offering to do the different setups for your respective application that you are working on or for which you are responsible as a functional implementation consultant. Okay. Going back to the home screen. So this is all about the basic level of navigation that we have seen. Okay, and we have tried to understand as an overview. Okay, now we will move on to the security administration as a topic. Okay, when I say security administration, as time and again I have in today's session told you, right? Based on the accesses that is provided to a particular user, that is how they will be able to either access the setup and maintenance page. Similarly, they will be able to access the different modules, okay, depending upon the accesses that have been provided. Okay, now this security administration is a key aspect not only for Oracle, for any kind of application or any kind of software that you are using in your day-to-day life. Okay, and typically when it comes to Oracle as an ERP, okay, from a security administration perspective, there is an understanding that you need to have, okay, how the security administration is basically done. Okay, what are the concepts revolving around the security administration for the Fusion applications? Okay, now that is where these three questions are to be answered from a security administration perspective. Who is the first question? When you say who as a first question, that means you need to ask who is to be provided the access for that particular application, for that particular Fusion applications. Okay, that is when we answer the question by by determining who are the users to be created. Okay, not all users within or not all people in an organization will need access to the ERP, right? Not all employees of the organization will need access to the respective organization's ERP. Okay, so the typical question that a security administration person for the Oracle applications need to answer first this question, whether a particular employee of the organization is to be provided a user access to the ERP or not. Okay, and accordingly, the first question, based on the first question, they will provide the access to the people who are supposed to work on the ERP application. Okay, so that is where the user creation as a concept comes into picture. Okay, then the next question is, what is the kind of access that need to be provided? Okay, when you say what is the kind of access means, what kind of functional accesses do the respective user need to be provided with? Okay, so when you say functional access means, if the particular user that is going to be created is a functional consultant, then they will need access to the functional configuration activities, mainly to say the setup and maintenance access they will need. Okay, so accordingly, they have to be granted the setup and maintenance access. Similarly, the functional consultant is also responsible for doing the transactional testings, right? So that is where the related application accesses also need to be provided to them. So that is where the what question is getting answered. If it is an end user, that means a regular employee of the organization, who is part of a particular department. Okay, then again for that employee also these two questions need to be answered. First of all, for that particular employee, a user ID needs to be created in the ERP so that he or she can access the ERP. And then on top of that, what is the application access that they need? Okay, if it is a employee who is working in the accounts payable department, he or she needs to be provided with the accounts payable application access. Okay, the payable invoicing access, the payable payment access. Okay, that is something that they have to be provided. In that case, they need, since they are the end user, they should not have access to setup and maintenance. So to say in a nutshell, uh, who is the user to be created and what kind of functional access, we call it as the functional access. Okay, depending upon the functions that they have to perform within the organization, what is the functional access that they need to be provided? So these are the two primary questions that the security admin person, okay, needs to get an answer to, according to which they will do the setup within the application and thereby grant the respective access. So this is where now we will learn how to create a user account, how we can give access to the respective functional areas. This is the topic that we will be covering today. So before we go into that, we need to have an understanding of how the security administration is also, how the concept of assigning the accesses needs to be understood. So who, as I mentioned, is a very straightforward question, and that means a user account needs to be created. So we will see how a user account will be created or can be created first of all. Okay. So I'll go into the application here. Now, being an administrative Oracle administrative person, that person also has a user ID, and that person will have access to something called as IT security manager. Okay, the person who is supposed to be an administrator of the applications, the Fusion application, that person, first of all, definitely he or she himself themselves will have a user ID, and in that user ID they will have access to IT security management. Okay, with the IT security management, they will get access to something called as security console. Okay, so that security console, how an administrator can access, he or she can go to navigator, scroll down to tools. Here there is tools that you see, click on tools, and this is something that he or she will be able to see, security console. Okay, click on security console, and this is where the security administration page will open up. So in that, you see there is a second option called as user. Okay, and this is where the user accounts are created for all the users who needs to have access to the applications. I mean, the ERP instance. Okay, for them, the user account is created from this particular page. Okay, now let's see how to create a new user. Okay, there is a XYZ employee, let's say, by the name of Harrison. Okay, and that particular user needs to be given the access to the ERP first of all. So the administrator will come down to this page and create his user account. Add user account. Click on add user account, and this is the page that will open up. Okay.
I have a question here.
Yeah.
So, like, can every user access the security console?
No, as I mentioned, it is the person who is the admin who has been given the IT security access. Only that person or those group of person or people will be able to access, will be able to first of all see the security console option.
Okay. So if
Okay.
I get a user ID tomorrow, in that case, like, how would I mean, would I be given IT security manager, or like what kind of, or how will
Yeah.
I get?
Yeah, so basically, IT security manager is something that, and as an access will be provided to your user ID by some
Okay.
other admin. There would be an admin, that would be already there. Okay, for the ERP applications from the organization. So whenever a license is procured, there is an
Mhm.
admin ID itself that is created by Oracle
Okay.
in the beginning itself. Okay,
Okay.
who would have that security console access, and then later on he will create the respective users, and then further give the accesses.
Oh.
Okay?
Oh,
So security console is an access that is required to be able to manage uh, other accesses, basically to say new user account creations, assigning of the application accesses and all. Okay, that is
okay.
where security console is something that is required. An admin will have that access, and once they click on security console, this page will open up. You will click on
Mhm.
users and then click on add account. So I'll go back to that page. So click on user, this page will open up, and then you will see the add user account option. Click on that, and this new user creation page will open up. Okay. Now,
Okay.
in this
Thank you.
case, first of all, the user information needs to be entered. What is the first name? What is the last name? Email ID, phone number, username, by what username they should be able to access the ERP. What is the default password? So which is an initial password that you would set later on, which the user can reset for themselves. Okay. And these are the things that you will have to first enter for the basic user creation, user account creation. Okay. So here, let's say, for example, Harrison is a employee of the organization who has to be created as a user first. Harrison White. Okay, let's say the email ID h.white@xyz.com. This is just a dummy email ID that I'm entering. okay, some phone number, and username. By default, the username will be suggested by Oracle, okay, as the first name dot the last name, but this can be changed as required. So what is the username policy that the organization is following? Okay, sometimes generally it is the email ID or the first name dot last name. So accordingly, this can be changed, and the default password can be set. So let's say, for example, I'm setting the default password as test123, test@123. Okay, and then save and close. And when I do the save and close, what will happen is Oracle will trigger a notification to that email ID, which is associated. Notification will be triggered, telling them or informing them the user that user account has been created, and also along with that, they will have an option to reset the password. Okay, so that is how it generally works whenever a new user account is created. Okay, and then you can search that user account as an administrator. You can search that user account from this particular search section. Okay, you can search it. There are different search criteria available. Either by username, you can search it, by email ID, by last name, first name. Using these search criteria, you can search it. So let's say by username, I want to search. So I will search Harrison.white, or even I can just give Harrison and search. So you see here that account has been retrieved. You can click on this hyperlink that you see on the name, display name. There is a hyperlink. Similarly, on the username also there is a hyperlink. You can click on that, and that account will open up. Okay, as an administrator, you have an option to reset the password from your end. So generally, we have such cases, right? Sometimes the account gets logged when the user tries to, enter the password wrongly multiple times. The account would get automatically logged. Okay, so in that case, they will request the administrator to basically reset the password for them or unlock the account for them. That is how basically in this page, this security administrator can do these activities: reset password, unlock it. Okay, those kind of small activities can be done. So here, if you look here, actions, lock account, unlock account will also be there if the account is already logged. Password reset can be there. Deletion of the user can be done. Okay, so these are some of the small activities that the administrator can do. Okay, if he has access to this page, and if that person is a administrator for the application accesses or the ERP accesses. Okay.
Just one question.
Hmm.
No second level authorization or approval for user creation.
No, in this particular page, there is nothing. So that is something which the organization can follow outside ERP as a authorization mechanism,
Okay,
or
thanks.
as an authorization business process. So
Thanks.
there are many such cases, right, where organization has a policy around it, where there would be a standard template kind of thing that they will have, where the username and all those things need to be entered. It would go to some via email or something. It would be sent to the respective authorizer, and then they will approve it. After which the user account will be created by the admin, or there can be some
Right.
custom.
Correct.
Yeah, sorry.
Correct. Thanks.
All right. Or there can be some other custom mechanisms or custom applications also they may have, which may be developed for that particular purpose itself to automate. That kind of things can also be there. Okay. So yeah. So but at a basic level, this is how the process is basically done by the security administrator to create the user accounts. Okay. Now that is where from a security administration perspective, the first activity of answering the who as a question and creation of the user account is answered. Now comes the part of assignment of the different functional access. So if it is a functional consultant, as a user who has been created and needs to have access to the setup and maintenance pages. Okay, that is where there is certain function access that needs to be provided to the functional consultant. If it is an end user who is supposed to work on, let's say, accounts payable as a application, then the respective function related to accounts payable needs to be assigned. Okay, so that concept in Oracle is called as the job role assignment. Okay, that concept of assigning the functional access to the users is called as the job role assignment. So first we will understand job role assignment as a conceptual part, and then we will see in the application how job roles are assigned to the user. Okay. So in Oracle architecture, it is called as the function security model, or the Fusion function security model is called as the role-based security model. Okay, role-based security model. Okay, so by that, what does it mean? Oracle Fusion application uses a role-based access control security model. Users are assigned roles through which they gain access to functions and data within the applications. Okay, there are certain roles that are defined. Okay, within Oracle, there are many predefined roles by Oracle. Okay, based on the universal, structure of the jobs that are there in any organization. Okay, and the applications involved. So according to that, Oracle has certain predefined roles which needs to be assigned to the user, so that in turn they get access to the different functions that they can perform within the ERP. Okay. So here is a pictorial representation or a flowchart representation of user and role assignment. Okay, so user is, let's say, Christopher, or you can consider Harrison as a user, and that user is first of all an employee of the organization or not. Okay, if that person is an employee of the organization, then an employee role has to be assigned to that particular user. Okay, employee role is what? Basically, something that gives the user the access to perform certain functions being an employee of the organization. So employee related functions they have to perform. Like, let's say, for example, they want to see their employee profile, okay, or they want to maintain their bank account for the payroll processing perspective. Employees need to maintain their bank accounts in the ERP. Okay, similarly, they want to access their pay slips, salary slips and all, okay, from ERP. Let's say Oracle is what the organization is using for their payroll and employee management process also. And in turn, the user has to access the, this particular, what do you say, the salary slips, etc. So certain employee related functions, being an employee of the organization, that they have to carry out. For that, employee as a role needs to be assigned to them. Then there are other functional accesses that they will be required to be assigned in order to perform their job within the organization. So what is their job? Let's say, for example, that particular user is part of the general accounting department. And in turn, he needs to access the general ledger application to carry out the journal creation process, or to carry out the journal approval process, or extract certain reports related to the general accounting. Okay, so those activities, being part of the general accounting department, he has to carry out those jobs. Okay, that is when he would be needing the respective function access. And therefore, the general accounting job role, there is a predefined general accounting job role and general accounting manager role that is predefined in Oracle, that needs to be assigned to that particular user, so that in turn he or she gets access to the general ledger application to be able to carry out the activities. Okay, so these are the aspects at a preliminary level that needs to be taken care of. Okay, from a functional perspective, from a role assignment perspective. Okay, and we will further see how to assign the roles okay, against the user, okay, in our next session that we have for tomorrow. Okay, I have a hard stop
I have a
today.
question, Chandu.
Yeah, please.
My question is, suppose there is a Christopher user and he is handling the accounts payable. So you define his role as accounts payable, right? So when he creates, he can create a invoice and then he can also do the payment. But
Right.
this is not correct. There has to be process. Somebody has to approve that. So how you will handle this here? Do
Somebody has
we
to approve
define
his
two
access,
different
right?
roles? Sorry?
Somebody has to approve his access.
Yeah, and not the access.
Mhm.
Like if I have both kind of access, I create invoice for XYZ name, maybe my friend, and then I make a payment also through that
Right,
invoice, and nobody is approving there.
right.
So
So
how
yeah,
you will handle
so
delegation of
basically
authority or
that is where the roles are segregated. Okay.
okay,
So for you will
segregation
see,
of duties.
yes,
Okay,
segregation of roles. So this is just a list that I have put together for your understanding. Like you can see, there is a specific role for accounts payable invoice supervisor alone. There is a
okay,
specific role for payment supervisor alone. There is a specific role for payable manager alone. Now, depending upon the access that that particular person needs or is supposed to handle, accordingly, the role will be assigned. So not all
okay,
users will be assigned invoice supervisor. Not all user will be assigned payment supervisor. Not all user will be assigned payable. Only the
okay,
respective
fine.
people who are supposed to carry out those respective tasks, only that particular access of or the job role access will be provided to them.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, so that is where there is more things that is going to follow in our sessions in the coming days, where you will further understand, okay, in detail, how the accesses are controlled. So that is where today, since I have a hard stop for one of my company related calls, I would be stopping for today, and we will continue again tomorrow with this with this
I have
same
a
topic
question.
again. Yeah.
Hello, sir. I have a question. So for this training, is it going to happen daily? And how much time are you like projecting, like overall schedule wise? Like, if this training goes on, like, what is the projected end date for this training? Anything in your mind?
Yeah. So as I mentioned earlier, to answer your question, it is a training for 90 hours, 80 to 90 hours. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So within that, we will try to complete all the modules, the configuration, and as well as the, identified, there are certain identified list of activities there in the curriculum. That is what we will
Mm-hmm.
be, looking at. So that is how the course is curated. Okay.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I have one follow-up question. So after completing this training successfully, will I be able to attempt to take the certification? Or
Yes.
does it require more
See,
work experience?
definitely it would require more hands-on experience. Okay, and
Okay.
some level of on-the-job training as well. So currently, Oracle has actually changed its certification policies. The way it earlier used to do is there used to be some multiple questions and things like that, where you
Mm-hmm.
could, based on your knowledge, you could select those multiple choice and you could, complete the certification. And if the
Mm-hmm.
benchmark, mark is, or the number of questions are answered correctly, you would get the certificate. But right now, the structure has changed a bit, where they would be asking you some practical scenarios as well. They would give you some scenario, and then they would ask you to perform it in their demo environment.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
that kind of model is what Oracle is now following from a certification perspective, which definitely would require you to have a more hands-on experience. Okay, so that is where training definitely is something that will speed up that process. Okay, so once you get employed, you will not find it that difficult, starting from scratch.
Okay. Okay, got it.
stone, or something that helps you achieve that edge, okay, to enter into the corporate world, into this particular role, and start working and gain experience, and thereby after which you can even go for the advanced certification aspects. But yeah, definitely, if you want to attempt after this, you can attempt it. But again, this is a curated course which is to help you understand the basics of it. But the questions that come up in the Oracle certifications are more detailed and more wider in from the scope perspective.
Okay,
Okay.
got it.
Hi, this is Sandeep here. I have a question. I just joined late. Want to
problem.
check a couple of things. So, is this training covers the supply chain as well?
No, this does not. This is
Oh,
purely
this
for
is
financials, and that too, as mentioned in yesterday's session, it is for covering the general ledger, accounts payable, accounts receivable, cash management, and fixed assets.
okay. Got it. Okay, and the complete process flow. It that
Yes.
goes. Okay.
Yeah, that goes with the basic required configurations for enabling the applications and for doing the general transactions. Like universally, there is a set of transactions that are followed across all organizations, right? So
Right.
how to perform those transactions is something that we will learn.
Got it. Okay. So it's like basically order to cash and
Yeah,
expense
order to
and
cash, P2P, that is procure to pay, then A2R, which is asset acquired to retire. Okay, so those are the processes at a high level that will be we will be taking you through with this training.
okay, understood. And so it's basically a functional consultant training, correct?
Yes.
Understood. Okay, and you will be training all these 20. I see that like 2.5 months, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So the timings are 8 to 9, regular class timings, and today would request you to confirm your enrollments, and from tomorrow onwards we will have to create this thing, what do you say, the WhatsApp group, and also share with you the links to join the session. And people who have not been part of the group, okay, will definitely will not be able to join the session from tomorrow. Okay.
And another question is, let's say if I am not able to make, let's say, because it's only weekdays sessions, right? Not on the weekends.
See, initially we won't be having it, but definitely as and when we progress, because of some time crunches, definitely we will have to have some sessions during the weekends as well. Okay, but that
Okay.
will be case by case. I'll be informing you in advance, and we'll take it up accordingly.
Just in case, like if I miss few sessions, will there be a recording so I can go later
Yeah,
point?
recordings every day. Recording will be there, and it will be loaded in a couple of hours. Okay, onto your login portal, and you can access it, and anytime you can access it.
And got it. Okay. And for any question, I need to reach out to your admin, right?
No, functional, during the sessions, whatever course that we are going through, if you have a question, even I will be involved in that WhatsApp group. You can post your questions to me, take my contact and post it to me, and I'll get back to you.
Got it. Got it. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
One last question, sorry, before we log off. So for the user you just created, can you quickly show us how, when you just log in through that user, what all offerings will be there? I mean, just on a higher level, you don't have to go in depth. So just to see how it's going to be.
Yeah, so once you have logged in, okay, the user
that you
that I
have created.
created, you mean the user that I created, you mean
Mm-hmm.
that's the one that you are seeing, right? You are saying
Yes.
you want to see.
Yes.
This is the basic view that will be there. So you don't see anything. See just me as a some
Okay.
tools and some others, but you don't see anything else because no role has been assigned.
Oh, okay. So we don't even see the security console or
No,
anything?
because this user has not been assigned anything. So
Oh,
even you
okay.
don't see the setup and maintenance, because those accesses have not been provided yet. It's just a user account that has been created, and these things are like standard, which Oracle would provide for all. But this does not help in any way.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Nothing
got
can be done from that user side.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so
I
much.
think while creating user, we did not click the admin part, which will give the offering for security console.
Right. We have not given any role.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is where I said, right, the next tax aspect is assignment of role. So that is something that we will be further discussing in tomorrow's session again, okay, with respect to different roles that we have, and we will see how to assign these. How to assign these roles to the user, and afterwards you'll see that particular user, for the same user we will take it up. We will assign the roles, and then you will be able to see the different accesses coming up.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Okay, then that's it for today, guys. Thank you for the time, and hope to see you all in tomorrow's session.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.